So this is what you can expect when you're building a CR500, is buying all the parts. Okay, this looks like it's not going to fit. I have to make a plan because I can't find these. It's an acid etch primer, and I think this is going to be better suited to the aluminium casing. Let's get this fixed and cleaned up. You can see the difference, so I'm going to try and have to source another one. Rear forks stripped. Just got to get these, figure out how to get these roller bearings out. Gasket glue. Some garden gloves when I'm working with hot things. This part comes all the way from Brazil. Sorry, I'm going to have a little rant now. All I want is this. So you have to buy the entire thing. Our future should be a little bit more considered than this. I've been banging on this screw for a few hours, trying not to break anything. Feels gummy. Oh, nice. Just when I think I've got a tough job, then I find another one. Somebody's glued this in. I'm not quite sure why. As far as the aluminium concerned on here, this has come out okay. No damage to the actual aluminium arm. So chances are I won't find those inserts anyway. So I'll just have to go and tidy them up. So let's see how clean I can get them. This is just a little homemade jig. Put 2 nuts on the end, a socket that will fit. The big one that will go over just presses up against the socket so I don't damage the socket. And there you are. A really nice, simple way of pushing the bearing out. And that's it. All clear. The forks are now all stripped clean. Today is the next problem to solve, and that is to get rid of this weld. And then we're also going to remove some of the deeper scratches that are on this frame. I've got the rails back. Yeah. It's good to get rid of these scratches now. There's sort of a line there. This section here is what's left of the lacquer layer. It's really nice to see it all cleaned up now. It's come out really well. Of course I could easily go and replace this, and I'm sure there's many of you out there that know that rubber and super glue are a marriage made in heaven. Top. So there it is. Right, so this mystery unfolds further. This is a really tough, I'm not sure quite what they used here. It's like an epoxy they've sprayed on here. Just insanely tough. On top of that, whoever sprayed this used a sandblaster, not a media blaster. Sandblaster puts pitting, and you see that's all spark eroded. Now if I'm trying to anodize this, this needs to be shiny. So I'm going to try and buff it on the buffing wheel, see if I can get any joy out of getting a shine on this. Otherwise I'm going to have to sand this entire wheel. And all because of this detail. It's a very important part of restoring a motorcycle back to original. But I can't abide by this awful paint job. So okay, you've put on epoxy layer first to seal those ridges so we don't get dirt in them. That's
exactly
what Honda does.
The epoxy is gloss finish, but then we spray this matte finish on the top and should be okay now.
You can see it's very much a brushed finish. If you cover it with a lacquer from a spray can, it'll peel off. So yeah, bear in mind that's one of the things that you don't often see restorers doing, is finishing to this point. And it's important because your restoration will look good when you finish the job and everyone will give you a hand clap, but it won't look so good once you start to handle it. Right. So now I'm going to try my first time at removing dents. Okay, I think this is ready for paint. So I'm baking it now with infrared. You need to heat treat this heat paint. So you can see the lump there. It's not perfect at all, but honestly, from what it was before, I think it's amazing. High heat paint is what I used. You can buy any brand. I'm not advocating any brand. Make sure you give this surface a good adhesion. You've got to bear in mind when you spray high heat paint on it, follow the instructions really well. Don't be tempted to use the stove black stuff you can get from hardware stores. They cost nothing and they come out as sort of a grey colour, and yeah, they can burn off really, really easily. It's probably a good idea to heat treat before you put it on the bike. They do suggest that maybe you run the engine. If your engine is ready to run, then by all means put it on before you do any damage, but it will be quite soft. It needs to cook onto the surface, and the more you run it, the harder it gets. There we go. Radiator mounts and very, very expensive engine mounting bolts. Nice. That's £16. That doesn't fit. Oh. So here we are, again an epoxy primer to hold onto the aluminium, the brushed aluminium. Too big. Still, I find a use for this pipe, like that. There you go. Okay, so my new tires arrived. I chose to get some Michelin trackers. I've read a lot of good things about them. I mean, they're certainly not the Hoosiers. I don't mind ripping these up. So Marika, you've just built me a Silica blaster.
Yes,
How many sandblasters do we have now?
We have two. Yeah.
So this is the 18-inch 36 spoke rear wheel, which we're going to test and see if the Silica works better than the media we use in the other booth, which works better for if we don't want to spark corrode surfaces, but it doesn't take rust and corrosion off the surface, which I need to do here. So let's see if the Silica, it's going to act like a vapor blaster in a way, just a bit more dusty, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
All right, let's have a look. can either vapor blast them or use a silica based blaster. Any sandblaster will be able to utilize silica, and silica doesn't make any dust. Even though we've got a fan, but unlike some of the other media we've used like sand or nuts or whatever other stuff we've used for carbon fiber, this is just phenomenal. But you can see there's still a lot of dirt inside these spaces. I'm going to see if we can't get them it to look very similar to what a vapor blaster would. Very, very impressive. I'm going to dial it down just a little bit because it's pitching slightly. I'll do this one next. Bunch of really nicely finished silica sandblasting. It's just a dry version of vapor blasting as I understand it. Put up, you know, that's going to look amazing. When you ask me what gives me pleasure when it comes to restoration, I've got to tell you this. This is what gives me absolute joy. Look at what that silica blaster does to all this stuff.
Oh, yes.
So they need a little bit of reprofiling. That is for the water pump. Not that thick. Not that crazy about these. And then the exhaust shield.